Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. We are always trying to target the violence here at NBC 15. I'm Kim Anderson. And of course, on Thursdays, we do this Facebook Live podcast as we talk about ways to help better our community by, of course, bettering our children. And today, I'm really excited about this because we've got this musical play that's coming here to the Port City with local people as the cast members. And it's got a story that's going to pull our youth in. So I'm not going to tell you about it, but I'm going to let them tell you about it. Joining me is Yvonne Matthews, who is the producer of the play. And I have Talasia Harold, who is the main character. So thank you, ladies, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Ms. Matthews, let's start with you. Tell us about the play. First of all, tell us the name of the play.
The name of the play is Souls of Time.
Souls of Time. Okay, and what is, just kind of sum it up a little bit about what it is without telling and giving away the story.
Well, there's this 15-year-old girl who's living in the pre-pandemic in 2020, and she's the daughter of her mother was a teen mother, okay, and their relationship was a little tension there.
Sometimes like teen relationships with their parents.
But through a turn of events, and we don't try to explain it to everybody, but in the house where she is, she gets transported in time to 1963 in the same house, but with a different set of parents and a little brother. And she knows who she is, but they think she's somebody else. But through all of this, she learns a lot of lessons about the history of Mobile County, about life, family dynamics that she brings back over to 2020 to her mother. And it's really life-changing. You learn a lot. It's very educational. It's very eye-opening. It will just tug at your heart, or you can see where society has issues and what could be some of the solutions to these issues.
Talasia, as a main character, and you're obviously a youth, how can something talking about transporting in time help our youth today?
Well, of course, because time traveling, that'll keep their interest. But in addition to that, seeing how things once were, we operate completely different from how things were back in the day, and seeing a whole different dynamic of a family and how children behaved back then, it'll definitely shift the perspective and the conversation.
What did it do for you when you learn more? I mean, because let's face it, we're in a time now where a lot of kids don't learn about the past. It's not being taught for various reasons in some school systems, and then we just don't think about it anymore.
Well, I was, of course, raised with the knowledge that I'm being given in the show. So I had it, but there were some things about Mobile that I didn't know about, as far as the discrimination and racism that took place here and how hectic it was in the 1960s for Black people. And so that it was very inspiring.
So it's very hard. So you saw a different light of how you have it kind of easy now.
Right.
Now, what made you come up with the idea of this play?
Well, it all started with Merceria Ludgood, Commissioner of District 1. She had this, well, it was a display that was at the Mobile Museum of Art to show about the history, the timeline from 1901 all the way up, and all the many figures of people who had very prominent roles within the community. So she wanted to get the history out to the youth because they don't know the history. And a lot of times when you don't know your history, you will repeat the bad things instead of repeating the good things. So she wanted to get it out. She wanted a production that had music, because good music pulls kids, and the music is very kid-friendly. They will love it. Teenagers and young adults, they're going to love the music. But we have something in there for my age, and but it,
and my age,
and your age, yes. So there's that thing that she wanted them to learn, but to be in a thing where it's not preachy, where you can learn willingly, want to know. You grasping. This Souls of Time does that. You will be drawn in. The audience is going to be drawn in. You will be educated if you listen and you pay attention. So I'm excited about it. When I was approached a few years back, about it and just started digging through the history to see what nuggets, what gems we would pull out that everybody didn't know, you know, and why we are in Mobile County so blessed and we had so many pioneers in our lives, so many trailblazers.
It's amazing. I've been doing some research on the city during Black History Month for different Black history stories that we've done on the newscast. And what I thought was so interesting is that back in the 1940s and the 50s, Mobile was the hub, one of the next to Atlanta, for wealthy African Americans.
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
that was so interesting. And then you kind of wonder, when did things start changing? What happened? So I guess that's something you're going to cover in the play.
But some of the things we cover, yeah, I know when some things because I was here with the changing over with Brookley Field when that got transported away from Mobile. So a lot of different things that happened to change
loss.
the job loss, and people
Yeah.
had to follow the money. But it is it's entertaining, it's enlightening, just in the family dynamics and just looking at kids who are brought up around maybe not the best role models, not the best situations where smoking and drugs might be acceptable or a lot of other things. And then get people to look at it, you know, how can we approach this differently, but not just say, you better not do that because that doesn't work.
Yeah. Now, T, because you said we can call you
Yes,
T,
yes.
Talasia, tell me as a youth, what advice would you give to the kids today after just becoming this character?
What advice would I give the youth? I'd say be patient, especially with our parents. I know at times I find it kind of difficult to maybe hear exactly what my mom's saying and understanding that she is a human as well. And I think that by us working on that patience and being better listeners, maybe we can prevent some of the violence and the rowdiness of my age, period. Yeah.
You hit that right on the head when you said be patient. Because so many kids want to be hot-headed right now and just go off without stopping and thinking and give themselves time to cool down.
Absolutely.
And realize, you know what, that's really not that bad. It's really not that big of a deal. We're going to go to a quick break because we're going to come back and we're going to bring in your mother in the character, who so happens to be your mother in real life as
Yes.
well, your biological mother. So that's great that y'all would be able to bond over this whole these characters on the stage. So we'll be back here in just a second. Give us a few minutes and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about the play that's coming up this weekend, Souls of Times, and I believe we have a full screen of that play and where it's going to be held, and that is coming up at the Civic Center, or at the Mobile Civic Center, and that is Friday, March 1st at 7 p.m. It is a play that you don't want to miss. Tickets are still available at Ticketmaster, but we talked to T. Talasia about her role as the main character of this play, Souls of Time. So now joining me is Tasha Harold, who's her mother in the play and also in real life.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks so much for being here. Tell me, now we asked Talasia about her role and how it made a difference in her life and how she thinks it would make a difference in the kids today. As the mother, tell us a little bit about your character and how it's impacted you personally.
So my character, Keisha, she was a young mother. She had her child early. So she has her own trauma or whatever issues that she's dealing with, as well as, every day to day, taking care of the family, things like that. And it puts a strain on their relationship. For me personally, I had my daughter early. I had her while I was in high school. So I related to her story, on a real personal level. Not as bad, but I was able to it made me realize and tap back into some of the things that me and my daughter went through in our own lives. And I hope that parents, if they come to watch it, like she said before, about the children being patient, it's for us as parents as well to be patient and to try and learn and understand our children and what they're going through. It's a different time nowadays with social media and things like that. So we have to be patient and try to continue learning, learning, never stop learning and understanding what they're going through as well.
Now, there's a whole campaign in the city with the law enforcement and city officials that are saying it starts at home. It starts at home.
Absolutely.
If we get control of our kids at home, we're not going to have these problems that we're seeing on the streets. So with this play, when you talk about patience, is that teaching parents too the same way that, you're accountable for everything that your kids are doing?
Absolutely. Without, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to
Yes.
give too much away about the play, but initially, we weren't sure what the storyline was going to be, but once we got our scripts and we starting to read through, it's like, oh man, this is good, just a good storyline. But in addition to that, like you said, what's going on nowadays, holding each other accountable, and you're responsible for what goes in your home, because whatever's going on at home, that's going to show at school and, in the street and everything like that. So this storyline is so good as far as for our youth and the violence that we're seeing now.
All right, now, Ms. Matthews, how difficult was it for you to write and produce this script? Because you had to incorporate today, and you are a former school teacher, administrator, so you've dealt with kids of today and yesterday, and just to come up with the concept of it.
Well, once I dug through all the history, and once I found the playwright to find the fictional story to marry to that, and I had some failed attempts, but finally came to Japonica Brown, and we put together, she had the story, it married together, and then the music even did more to that. And I'm telling you, it took a while, and I was struggling through some personal things with my husband's illness and being away. We did everything long distance. I had a team here who took on the responsibility for the auditions. I didn't know who I had till I got back from Arkansas, and but they chose well, they selected well. I say, who's supposed to be there is there in the play. And this play also talks about community. Even though we talk about what goes on in the home, starts in the home, this play actually talks about community. I had my community. They helped me to pull all of this together, which makes it even more special that within this play, it talks about the community. That woman who you might think might be the nosy neighbor might be just looking out for your children. So we have responsibility to each other, because it's called community unity when we can get on all together and just start thinking. But I think that I'm blessed to have been tapped to do this and to have the resources to do it, then to get the human resources to do it, and now to share with the community where I grew up. And the people are really buying the tickets, and I can't wait to showcase this. And for all of us to walk out saying, I was enlightened. Because every time we practice, there's another layer that comes out. We say, we didn't quite see it that way. And then when it came out, we got a new lesson. almost like me when I read the Bible, I get a new lesson each
Yeah.
time. So it was like this. Every time we would go through, we got a new lesson. And even if you weren't acting, but you were looking at the actors and you could see just their responses. So we built a new community. We are Souls of Time, and the whole cast and the crew. So it's been wonderful.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to reach our youth because this play is going to be showed to hundreds of kids in the Mobile County school system even before it hits the big stage.
Even before. And it's going to be on the big stage. They're coming to us at the Civic Center actually in the morning.
So they'll get it before the evening show.
They'll get it before the evening show. And this has been made available to them. They have an educational guide that is massive with puzzles and games and higher order thinking skills and scaffolding. And I mean, just every way to learn the lessons, to learn the vocabulary, to learn the history, language arts. I mean, there is so much they learn about theater, just the different elements of what makes it all go. So not only will they come and enjoy, but they'll have the teachers have this resource that they can use throughout the year to help them. And we're hoping because when their vocabulary increases, when their knowledge level, and when they can start transferring information from one situation to another, it really helps. So they won't think so concretely. They can think more abstractly. So that's the goal of this.
Oh, wow. Now, Tasha, is this a play that you'd recommend for all parents to see?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt. And, with the kids going earlier, I would turn around and bring my kids later so we can start a discussion. It's definitely a discussion starter, because everybody's going to have a different take on, or they may relate to one character and not see another one, so that's a discussion that can start, in a household.
Oh, wow. It sounds amazing. It sounds exciting. I hope that you will expand it to more than just one weekend, so people can take time, because I know you can only fit so many in the arena at a time, so it'd be great to see it. Ladies, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to come. Souls of Time, again, that's tomorrow, March 1st, and it's at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Mobile Civic Center from 7 to 9, and the kids get to see it. Ask your kid about it. It's worth it. Go buy a ticket. There still are tickets available, right?
Yes.
There still are tickets available. Let's sell this out and make a difference in our community, make a difference at home. And you're right, like Tasha said, have a discussion with our own kids. We appreciate it. We will see you back here next week. Thank you.